I used to have the craziest panic attacks, and I would not understand why. For the life of me, I was freaking out. I lived basically in fight or flight, and honestly, some days I still do. But the thing that really changed my life and took me from being able to slow that train crash down was understanding my brain. And once I started understanding how my brain worked, things got so much better. Instead of driving the train off the cliff, I was someone on the side of the road who could pull a lever and have the train slow down. And it doesn't stop the train, but it slows it down to a point where I can actually step back and say, okay, like I don't want to feel this right now, so I don't have to. And that mindset is liberating, so freeing. So we're gonna go through 8 brain chemicals today that basically create your emotions. The first one is my best friend and own personal enemy, adrenaline. Adrenaline kicks in during fight or flight, and it basically is just this chemical that makes you want to freak out. Adrenaline can make your heart beat really fast and increase blood flow. And a good tell for like all this adrenaline is that you'll feel shaky, wired, maybe even like panicky. The reason why anxiety is such a big problem is that adrenaline is a short-term chemical. You're not supposed to be waking up every day and having adrenaline be pumped into your bloodstream. The next one is norepinephrine. It's a little bit similar to adrenaline in the sense that it can increase blood flow, but it actually tightens your blood vessels. And what norepinephrine is associated with is alertness and focus. If you don't have a lot of norepinephrine, this is something that can contribute to like a lot of brain fog or maybe like not being able to pay attention. However, if it's too high, you could be jittery, anxious, on edge. So you can see some of the similarities to adrenaline. They're not twins, they're like distant cousins that kind of have some relations, but each have their own individual important roles. The next one is dopamine. God, I could talk about dopamine all freaking day. Dopamine is associated with motivation and reward. Dopamine is actually the neurotransmitter that's associated with addiction. So actually, fun fact, people who are addicts generally are more likely to be susceptible to dopamine. The thing that a lot of people get mixed up is that dopamine isn't necessarily a pleasure chemical. Like, yes, we might feel it in moments of pleasure, but all it is like your brain hitting a button like, ooh, do that again. Dopamine drives habits, behaviors, goal chasing, and it makes you repeat things that you do because they feel good, even if you don't want to do them. So the next one is serotonin. Serotonin helps to regulate things like your mood, appetite, and your sleep. And it's linked to feelings of emotional well-being and stability. Serotonin can actually be influenced by your gut health. It's actually also thought to be linked to neuroplasticity. A lot of people think that serotonin equals happiness, and it doesn't equal happiness. It just kind of, like if I had to equate it to any one specific emotion, it would be openness to experience. You know, like it kind of broadens your mind to other possibilities. And this kind of helps you stay steady. The next one is GABA. GABA is your brain's basically like brake chemical. I want you to think of it like you're slowly hitting the brakes. GABA is our main calming neurotransmitter in the brain. GABA literally tells your neurons to slow down. It can help reduce anxiety and overthinking, but if you don't have enough of it, it can kind of feel like your brain has no off switch, like you cannot calm down. So if GABA is the brake pedal, glutamate is the gas, baby. Glutamate is our main excitatory neurotransmitter, and excitatory basically means like up, up, up. It's key for learning, memory, and forming new connections. You actually need it to like think, remember, and adapt. However, too much of glutamate can actually be toxic to your neurons, so your brain carefully balances it with GABA. Then we have acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is crucial for memory and learning. It activates muscles in your body, helps you wake up, encode new information, and focus. Disruptions in acetylcholine are actually linked to memory problems in some dementias, but so is dopamine, so. The last one we're going to cover are endorphins. Endorphins are your body's natural pain relief. Endorphins are released through exercise, excitement, and honestly, in some cases, stress. Endorphins can reduce your sense of pain and create kind of like a light euphoria. The The cool thing about endorphins is they actually attach to your brain's opioid receptors, so it's kind of like your body's natural perk. They're like tiny little built-in painkillers, but they don't actually like cure anything. They just help you kind of get through your day. So, the next time you're feeling panicky, stressed out, or you're having a panic attack, I want you to think, what neurotransmitter is actually causing this in me right now? Like, am I feeling this way because of this, this, and this? And honestly, that makes the whole experience feel so much more manageable and so much less scary. If you want to change your life with neuroscience, follow me for more.